Hey, I'm here to make a video today on my 2020 Monster 821. I bought this a couple of years ago. Haven't made a video in a while. I was making little videos there in a series for people on YouTube, and they're popular. I see people comment on them all the time. And it's like, I want to get one, or I'm getting one, and I'm really excited about it. Well, I'm just excited after 2 years, as you are, if you have one currently, or you're getting one. This is an amazing motorcycle, and I'm not speaking about the smaller 600-ish, 700-ish. This is specifically geared towards pretty much this bike that I know. I know that Ducati makes some smaller ones that are air-cooled and so whatnot, but today we're talking about this beauty right here, and I'm very pleased to bring this to you. I just want to touch base with everybody that watches my videos on this motorcycle. I'm still in love with this motorcycle. Every time I look at it, it just blows my mind. And that wasn't necessarily the case in my 20s and my 30s. I would only look at sport bikes, you know, full fairing sport bikes. That was the only bike that I was interested in. But I later in life, maybe in my 40-ish time period, I worked at Yamaha for many years, Yamaha dealerships, and I always liked the FZ1 series and the FZ09 and the FZ10, and those really grew on me, and I was going to get one of those. I always had planned on that, but I just didn't. I went back into motocross, and then I actually hurt myself, and then I rode for a little bit longer, and then I just gave that up, and went a while without having a street motorcycle, because it is very dangerous. And I live in Dallas, Texas, and there's a lot of traffic, and it's very dangerous. And I stay on the smaller roads versus I will get up on the major highways if I need to go somewhere, and time is of the essence, but I pretty much stay off because it's really chaotic here on the highways, and it's just better that way. But I want to talk to you today about this beautiful motorcycle, and jumping ahead a little bit, I went into a Ducati dealership the other day with a friend that had a much more expensive Ducati than me, a Course Edition 1198, and $25,000-$30,000 bike, and he's looking to get back into it. His life is changing, and he saw me ride my bike again, and we used to ride together. And he was a big Ducati fan, and I was too. I worked at Ducati, and I worked there and I had a Yamaha, and I just didn't at that time when selling my Yamaha to buy a Ducati. But I learned so much about Ducatis while working at the dealership for a little over a year, and I always planned on getting one, and I finally did. COVID happened, and then a few years into that, I was like, man, I think it's time to go check out a Ducati. And I went online to my favorite dealer here in Dallas, and they have Ducatis with 500 to 800 miles on them, mint condition, all service work done, lots of accessories on them, no mileage, and they're a little bit cheaper, not much. And then we all know during COVID, motorcycles got even more expensive, even used ones. Used ones appreciated a lot, and the new ones stayed pretty much the same price, which they're high anyways. But I went in there with my friend, and we looked at bikes, and just most of the bikes now are at the Ducati dealership are, $18,000, $20,000, $30,000, $45,000. And if you're wealthy, then yeah, I mean, it makes sense maybe to get one of those really new ones and the latest and greatest. But this Monster has been 821 has just been amazing. It's got the Rosso 3 tires, and the back tires like that fat. I'm not necessarily into oversized rear tires, but it does really make this machine here, this particular one, look really menacing and mean from the back. Really good tires. This is a real, about as high as you can get in the line of motorcycle tires. Pirelli Diablo Rosso 3s. But tires, I just want to touch base with you real quick, and I'm going to talk to you about my bike in particular. Again, it's a 2000 model, 2020 Monster 821. I want to touch base with you on all the little things that I've done and what it came with when I bought it. Like, it had 950 miles. First service was done by the dealership that I bought it from. It was in the computer as service and warranty work that's been done, or any recalls. That's important. So if you're buying one of these, you want to make sure you get a properly maintained motorcycle. People will comment and say, hey, I'm looking at this, what do you think? It's like, that's a crapshoot. Trying to figure out the bike's worth it and the condition by listening to someone just say, hey, I want to buy one. But the condition is a lot of it, but you also want to have all the service and warranty work and oil changes and maintenance that, at 5,000 or 5 years, you've got to get the belts on this replaced so that you don't damage the motor. Also too, oil changes are important. But let me just jump into, this bike came with a Termignoni exhaust, and to me that is the bread and butter of the Ducati brand, the Termignoni, and the sound is just amazing. I know there's newer exhausts that are out, brands that they're implementing on these Ducatis, the Akrapovic and maybe a few other ones. But again, to me, working at the Ducati dealership in the early 2000s, Termignoni was the premier Ducati brand exhaust. So that exhaust came with a map from the factory, of the Termignoni factory, and it was, you need to install that map, and that takes the Ducati dealership with Ducati software on a laptop so that they can upload that once they install your exhaust so that it runs correctly. Fueling is right. And my bike has had that done. So that is awesome. And it came that way. And I paid, let me just touch base, I paid like 10.9 or 10.875 for this. And this was a couple of years ago. And I did get a deal, maybe $600 off this motorcycle of its actual list price. Little things that I've added, just insignificant little trinkets. We got right here, we got the, I added, instead of the plastic little fill of the oil, I bought, a $12 anodized red cap that goes on there. I love that. They're just little bitty things that I did that just kind of make it personal, and I really like that. And I added some anodized bar ends. You can buy bar ends that are $80 for two, or you can buy bar ends that are $20, and there's absolutely almost no difference between them. So this time I went with a little bit cheaper route and got these on Amazon or eBay, and they work wonderful. The little weights, the end of the bar weights, and I like those too. They were black before. And then a popular thing is this fly catcher windscreen. A lot of people see that and ask a lot of questions, but it came on a 2020, the dark version, I think what they called it, the Ducati 821, the stealth model. It came with that, but I have videos on everything I'm talking about today. So if you want to learn more about this motorcycle, go back and look at my maybe 20 videos. But I took my fly catcher windscreen off, and then I painted it black, a rubberized coating from the inside, but it looks really shiny on the outside, and the reverse side is very matte, and so it cuts down on reflections when you're looking at the dash. But then you've got this black thing, black menacing look from the front. I'll show you that right there. It really helps. It cuts down on glare on your screen, and cuts down on light, but yet you can see through it. It was pretty cool to do. Got a video on it. And another thing that I did is I added the ASV clutch lever. And what that basically did is it gave me the ability just to jump on the bike and basically wrap my fingers around that. So it allowed me to move my lever in. Plus the ASV lever is a breakaway design, so if your bike falls over and it breaks your clutch lever off, this one actually flexes. So it's the adjustability. It gives you a little bit easier pull because of the design and the pull on it, the pivot points. It's not cheap, but you can get this to improve. I really like this. The factory one on the brake is good enough for me. It has some adjustability in it right here, so that you can position the brake where you need it. The front brake on this bike is incredible. That's one of my favorite points on this motorcycle, is that Brembo front brake. And then I painted the little Brembos because they just come silver or gray, and I painted them red like the bike, front and rear. Another little thing that came on the bike, because the gentleman that owned it before me, who was a police officer and friends from the sales manager up there at the Ducati dealership, he bought this little front brake master cylinder cap, probably $90. I think it was $90 from Ducati. It is the Ducati brand, and it's got a little carbon inlay. So that came with the bike. I did not pay for that. I probably would not pay for that, but since it was on the bike, that was awesome to get. And then the Ducati tank pad right there, this is like $85. It has a little faux carbon look to it. Again, I would not have paid $80 or $90 for that, but the gentleman that bought the bike before me bought it, and it's on the motorcycle, so it's cool to have. It's got the Ducati brand and logo right there. I think they all come with the rear seat cowl, but maybe some don't, maybe some do, but they're not cheap. They're like $250. And then it came with a Rizoma stand spool, track stand, and I have that at home, and that's very helpful when lubing and adjusting the chain. And there's one on the other side, so your track stand fits in here and it lifts the rear wheel off the ground. Anything Rizoma is very, very expensive, and it's a kind of related towards Aprilia and, you know, the expensive motorcycles that you can buy. The Rizoma brand. They make nice stuff, but it is very expensive. And then I don't know if you're able to tell you who made this. This is a fender eliminator. It came on the motorcycle, and it positions, instead of having your plate pointing out here and on a tail extender, it moves everything, simplifies it, and puts it up under the rear tail. This is an LED, and it flashes as you put your LED on, or your turn signal, excuse me. It will light up sequential and blink to the side, whatever side you're turning on. And so that's really neat. But there's that really big, wide rear tire that I was talking about that looks amazing. I like it a lot. Another mod that I think is really, really good for these monsters is they come with a lead acid battery, and that lead acid battery weighs probably about 17 pounds, give or take. And it's not, since this bike has two, Ducatis typically have twin cylinders and big pistons, they're in high compression, they're on the difficult side to start, so they take a lot of power, and it's very, very easy to drain the battery, the lead acid battery, and kill a lead acid battery. Plus, too, if you're riding them in a hot climate, the rear exhaust that comes off this bike, the sun is fading down really quick, but the battery compartment, if you don't know, is right here, right underneath the exhaust header from the rear cylinder. So this probably gets 260, 270 degrees, and heat kills lead acid batteries. Lithium ion batteries tend to hold up better to heat, plus they have a lot more cranking power, and so it's a big benefit to jump over to that LiPo battery, lithium ion battery, and you get more power to start your bike. It starts up quicker, and it's also about probably 70% lighter. So again, you save up to maybe about 10 pounds. And some people say 10 pounds is nothing, but if you live in the performance world, on cars, motorcycles, anything, 10 pounds is a fairly big deal. Plus, too, another thing that I really cool that I got is the EvoTech gets rid of the passenger foot pegs, and I bought that from a store in Austin, and that gets rid of your passenger foot pegs. It cleans up the look, and it gets rid of about 5 pounds, and simplifies things, and just looks awesome in my opinion. Let me know what you think. And then over here, it comes with that. It has a little block off plate right here and 2 screws, so that you don't just have little spots open where looks like you're missing screws. So this comes with it, but it says EvoTech, Evotech is a great company, and they do a lot for Ducati, Aprilia, and these Italian bikes. The last thing that I really love is the Ducati quick shifter, and the quick shifter is right here. It's this piece right here. It allows you to be a blipper down when you're off the throttle. You can lower, go down from, fifth to fourth to third to second and even to first. And you can do that without pulling in the clutch. You just got to be off or almost off the throttle. And then you can do full power, medium power, upshifts, and it's just seamless. It just blips. It just races through the gears. It's seamless. It is such an amazing feature if you're trying to haul ass around and go really fast. And you can use it, for, going a little bit slower, but you got to be a little bit more mindful of your shifts so that you time it and sync it right. But that means you don't have to use your clutch. But that's the Ducati quick shifter. And I paid for that maybe $230. And just be sure that at least for mine, it comes installed in the software from Ducati in the ECU. It's just not turned on. So you cannot add that quick shifter and then just go use it. You have to go into your Ducati dealership, they plug it into a laptop, and they turn the feature on. And again, that can be very, very expensive, or they can do that for you and cut the cost. It's just however you want to do it, but be aware of that because it can get expensive if you're not aware of it. And at first I was not aware of it, and you don't want to go thrashing on your bike when the Ducati quick shifter isn't working. So get it working first and then go out and give it a good hard, fast full power upshifts clutchless. Anything I talk to you about today or anything that you see is just what I've done. It's not what I recommend. It's not what I'm telling you to go do. So a safety thing is I've removed my mirrors because mirrors are just not that good looking. And so I bought these replacement screws that go into the handlebar so you just don't have an opening left there. And these were maybe $8, and I got 3 or 4 of them. And they look really, really good. And block off plates, maybe what they're called, block off screw. But I don't have any mirrors that detract from the look of the motorcycle. And I really like that. It looks really, really clean and really mean and really sleek. But that's everything about my Monster that I want to share with you as far as I remember. Beautiful motorcycle. I can just look at it, just sit there and look at it and appreciate it. And it's not $20, $30, $40, $50,000 from Ducati. That's my video. Thanks for tuning in. Have a fabulous day. All right, bye-bye.